Good morning. It's morning to me anyway. I don't know what time it is of day when you are watching this, and you can tell it's also winter. Now, I promised you people, this is Laugh Cry Repeat, by the way. I promised you guys that this was going to be my real life, and I wasn't always going to look very pretty. So it's like 7:54 in the morning on Monday. And I was doing some reading, and I had a flash of something I wanted to talk to you guys about. It's a story that happened with my middle child, my youngest daughter, Leah. Her father and I had extremely different opinions about food and about how children should eat and what you should do to get them to eat. And I'm going to share this story simply because I know that the battle that I faced with him was something that goes on in homes across the land with everybody. Certainly not to the extreme that he and I had the fights, but because, I've always been interested in health and, food and stuff like that. And he's, had a terrible, terrible diet. So from a very young age, we would fight over what we were feeding our daughter. She was his first child. And he had this attitude that it was okay to sort of bribe her to eat food with dessert, like eat 5 bites of this. And I really didn't agree with that philosophy. He was giving her candy in the morning, ding dongs. Like if she would eat 5 bites of a banana, he'd give her a ding dong at 9 o'clock in the morning or 8 o'clock in the morning or something. He had a drawer of candy bars, a refrigerator full of junk food out in his man cave. And it was a constant source of fighting because I wanted to have a completely sugar-free home. I wanted to have sugar-free treats. I was a little extreme as well. I was as extreme on the healthy end as he was on the junky end. And it turned into these horrible where he'd be like, okay, well, I'm going to take Leah to Costco. And then he would stop off and give her donuts while I was not there. And she'd come home with jelly on her shirt. I'd be like, so it was just, we were arguing, we were fighting. He would be like, look, cookies contain all of the major food groups. They have milk, they have eggs, they have flour. What's the problem? And the thing is that it was underlying deeper relationships problems with us. I mean, we ended up divorced. So that kind of gives you a clue that things were not all happy or down the beach. So it all changed one day when it was like, I don't know, Sunday morning or something, like 8 o'clock in the morning. And I was walking down the hall. I heard the shower curtain rustling. And I was like, what is going on? And I look in the shower and she probably was 3-year-old daughter was standing in the shower, fully dressed like this. And I was like, what are you doing, Leah? And she's like, I don't know. I'm like, you're what? You're eating a ding dong? I don't know. Who gave you a ding dong at 8 o'clock in the morning? Daddy. And I realized that the problem of her eating ding dongs at 8 o'clock in the morning was not the problem. The problem was that the conflict between her father and I was toxic and was driving her to eat a ding dong that her father gave her, something that her father gave her permission to eat, but she still felt the need to hide it and stand in the shower to eat it from the parent who disapproved. And I went to him, not nicely, and I said, you know what? You win. I am not going to give our child an eating disorder because I'm fighting with you over what you feed her. Okay? So you win. I'm not the food police anymore. I'm not going to run around and tell you what to do, when to do. I'm not doing it anymore. You and me fighting is worse and creating a worse environment in this home than anything this child could eat. So that's a nice conversation. But then, me, I take it to a whole nother extreme. So I grab my purse and I stomp out of the house. All right. This is before David was born. I stomp out of the house at 8:30 in the morning on Sunday. I'm like, I'll be back. And Madison's sitting there looking around she's I don't know how old she was, 8 or 9. She's like, what's going on? So I go to the grocery store across the street and I buy every piece of crap you could possibly imagine. Like ding dongs and ho-hos and candy and cookies and chips. Like I spent $100 on cookies and Pop-Tarts and all the food that I've been fighting for them to not eat. And I come home and I dump all the bags out on the living room table, on the dining room table. I just dump it all out. I'm like, this, kids, come here. And Dan's standing there like, what is going on? So David, Madison and Leah come in. And I'm like, guys, guess what? We're not fighting over food anymore. You can eat this anytime you want. You can have cookies for breakfast, ding dongs for dinner. You can never eat another salad again as long as you live. I don't care about fruit. I don't care about vegetables. I personally like to eat healthy because I feel better, but I'm not fighting with you people anymore. So the first thing that Madison does is goes, Mom, you can't do this. Mom, you can't do this. I'm like, I just did. She goes, no, really, seriously, Mom, I'm going to gain weight and get fat. How am I going to know what to eat if you don't tell me what to eat? Like, whoa, okay. So I'm like, now I know I need to do this. I'm like, well, you guys need to learn. I've taught you how to eat healthful foods. You know what healthy is. You know what healthy isn't. It's up to you. You'll see. You'll see how you feel. So I'm going to go and get myself a banana and some water, and I'm going to go sit down. So for like 3 days, these people ate. Well, certainly Leah, she was like unbelievable. She's like, are you sure? Right? So she's like grabbing a cookie. She's like, are you sure, Mommy? And I'm like, yeah, I'm sure. So anyway, so day one, and Dan was looking at me like, you're crazy. What are you doing, lady? I married a crazy lady, which he did. So like day one, it was a pig fest of M&Ms and, and then of course, Leah had the invariable stomach ache at the end of the day. She's like, Mommy, my stomach hurts. I'm like, well, that's what happens when you eat crap all day. So day two, she was starting to slow down a little bit. And meanwhile, like Dan had lost his power source because it had been this sort of weird power struggle between the two of us about mean mommy who's making you eat vegetables and fun daddy who's giving you candy. All right, but now fun mommy is giving this as much, you have not fun mommy, but you have as like much candy as you possibly want. You have the freedom to choose. And so the kids he'd be like, hey Leah, let's go to Costco, get a donut. She's like, I don't want to go, Daddy. And he started feeling very threatened by the fact that his power base had been shifted. And the thing that he had influence over the kids to sort of, his domain was taken away. So the power struggle had ended and he didn't know what to do. So by day 3, I'm sitting there eating a salad and Leah's like, can I have a salad, Mommy? And Madison's like, me too. Can I have some salad? And I was like, I don't know. I mean, we've got chips and they're like, really, I want salad. And they started eating salad and they started eating vegetables. Now, I'd like to say that this resulted in a lifelong healthy, knowledge of fruits and vegetables and stuff. And it didn't. But I will say that neither of my daughters are overweight. They've had, situations where you gain, 10, maybe 20 pounds at the most. Because, you go through phases. But they've always been able to lose it. They've not had weight problems. They've still struggled, as we all do, with the relationship with food, but that's because we live in a society that doesn't promote healthy eating. But they've always known what to do. But the most important thing was that the power struggle over food had ended, okay? So for you, as you're sitting there in your family and you're fighting with your kids or your spouse or whatever over food, just remember this. Like, the human body is incredibly resilient. All right, the human body is amazing, especially the little children human body. I would have loved nothing more than to have my children eat no sugar, no trans fats, whole grain, this and that. But that was not the world I lived in. I had two spouses at the time who were dramatically opposed to me. And it got to the point where I realized that fighting over food was worse than anything that they could be eating. So if you're living with people who don't agree with you, just chill. It's okay. It's okay to not be perfect. It's okay that, you're not living a perfect diet at this point. It's an evolution. It's an absolute evolution. But what matters more is your relationship with food and your relationship with the other people in the house. Conflict is more toxic than sugar. All right. So that is Laugh, Cry, Repeat for today. And Go get yourself, let your kids some ding dongs, some Twix. No, seriously though, like it's just chill. It's okay. Just do your best. We're all doing our best. All right. By the way, don't forget, go check out my website, my beautiful website, myhealthpyramid.com. Sign up to take the quiz, which plant-based diet is right for you. Sign up for my newsletter. Keep watching these. myhealthpyramid.com. We've got all kinds of exciting stuff coming up. So anyway, myhealthpyramid.com. I remind myself of my brother, my son. Sheep David of Fun. myhealthpyramid.com. All right. Bye, everybody.